Good evening, tubers. Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight for some more lake breakdowns. We're still working on Sam Rayburn. We've covered all the Google Earth waypoints. So we pulled the water down, looked to see what we could find there. Now it's time to pull offshore and see what we can find out there. First off, let's jump over and let's look at that Google map one more time, and let's talk about all the fish attractors that Texas Park and Wildlife has put out there. Then we'll switch back over and we'll talk about the Navionics side. Here we go. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about are the different fish attractors that Texas Park and Wildlife has put out there. So if you're looking at this on the Google Earth desktop, pretty much what we're going to do is we're just going to uncheck everything except for the offshore and the fish attractors, so you can kind of see what we're going to review tonight. So I'm going to uncheck these real quick, and then I'm just going to double click it, and that's going to take us in and show us what we're looking at. So you can see here we have lots of different points to go over. Probably going to take us 2 different videos, but let's see what we can get done tonight. But the first thing I wanted to show you were just these fish attractors. So let's just pull these back. You can see here, I think they're 15 different fish attractor sites. So let's just go in here and take a look at them real quick. The first one's up here right around that St. Augustine Park. And again, if you have the SD card or if you download these points, these are exact points on where those brush piles are. So you can see you've got one there. You've got one over there by Mill Creek. You got a couple over here off this. Sorry about that. My finger slipped. A couple over here off this point. So anyways, a couple more there. Some down by the dam as well. You can kind of see as we're just reviewing and going over these. There, that was the very first one they put there apparently. And then you've got some more up in here. So 2 there, and then you've got about 5 back in here. So you can see here the locations. So just wanted to show you those. Now, it is possible that some of our offshore hotspots may come really close to where those brush piles are, or could even be right on top of them. So like if we look right in here, in this area, that actually pretty close. I guess it's not as close as I thought, but pretty close to it. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to switch over to Web App Navionics, and all of these different offshore things, you're actually going to see it from a contour perspective as opposed to Google Earth, so it'll make a lot more sense. So let's jump over there and let's see what we can uncover. Here we are on Sam Rayburn. Let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to probably do this one. We'll see how much we can get done. If we can get it done in one video, we will. And if not, we'll come back and we'll finish up what we can't get done. So let's go ahead and just start on this side. I'm just going to work my way from this east side all the way down to the west side, up to the north, and then back around. So let's see what we can uncover. So this would be looking at it from a contour perspective. The first couple of items that you'll see out there, and I've marked these out on the Google Earth waypoints too, so you'll see all of this combined together. I'm just switching you over here because from a visual standpoint, it's going to make a lot more sense. So you've got 2 different bridges or culverts that are right in here. So we marked both of those. We got another one right in this area as well. And then as you move down in here, you've got some more culverts, some obstructions. You've also got a little intersection here with all the different creek channels. And you've got a bridge that's over here too, I believe. Yeah, Submerged Bridge right in here. These are also bridges as well. So all good hotspots right there in a good creek channel. The creek channel's got really good depth as well, 13 to 15 feet. So I can't see that being a bad place. Definitely someplace where they would for sure locate. So as we move down here and we get a little bit further, just a couple of things to look. I kind of like this point, how it comes off. It's in about 10 foot of water, and then it drops off into about 15 foot. So maybe check that out. That may have some potential. Not too sure on that. With all these creek channels, I feel like if it's not around a creek channel or in the area of a creek channel, it's probably not going to be very productive, but I could be wrong. So check out those places anyways. Always never hurts just to scan by them and see what you can find. You've got another submerged bridge that's out here as well. This one looks really good. And again, really good depth, kind of off of a little bit of a turn there. And also the fact that you have a submerged bridge, that's really awesome. So then we're going to keep moving on down. And you're going to notice we're marking these bridges pretty much every time we see them. We've got another one right in here. And then off this point looks like it could be somewhat productive. It's very shallow on the top. It's got a really good break, and then it breaks off into almost like another flat top, about 15 foot. And then it has a second break that drops you right off into that creek channel. So I can definitely see this area right in here having some high potential to be able to find some bass in that area. Also, as you move down here, it looks like you got some flooded timber. If you're just following this creek channel, you want to look at those spots where that creek channel is turning or where it looks like it's hitting the land kind of based on the contour. I know it's not hitting the land up here, but it's creating some sort of a ditch or a channel right there. So right in this area could be good too. I didn't mark that, but if you're just following that channel, it would definitely be worth looking at. And then right in here, I also marked this. You'll notice this point comes off pretty shallow, and then it has a really, really extreme drop that takes you directly down. So after that, I'm going to keep coming down in here. I didn't see too much farther down that way. Now, obviously, go back out if you haven't seen the video yet from the Google Earth waypoints. Go back out and check those out, because when you put all this together, you're really going to be amazed at what you can uncover on the lake and different areas that you'll be able to go fish. You've also got another hot spot right here. It says there's a hump here. I didn't really see it, but I went ahead and marked it because the local had put it here. I could see this being more productive more out here, like off of the edge of this, right by the creek channel. But check those out and just see if they're worth it. They may have some fish on them. Also inside of here, where the flooded timber is, you do have some humps that are kind of hidden in here. There's one here that comes up to 8 feet. Probably going to have a lot of timber and stuff around in this area, so just be careful. Then you've also got another one a little bit further over here that comes out. It's another point, comes out. Top of it's about 7 to 8 feet. Got flooded timber in that area as well. And then as we move further out here, got a couple different spots. You've got a roadbed that comes through here, which is really good. Looks like someone has actually put a mark here where it says there's a very sharp drop right off the edge of this point. So this can be a really good area right in here. Plus you have a submerged bridge there too, so that looks good as well. And then as we move further down here, just another part where that creek channel is swinging up against or getting really close to the land right here, or to basically just a spot in the area. I guess you wouldn't really be the land because the land's more out of the water, but you can see anyways what I'm trying to say here is it's building a wall there or a drop. So definitely take a look at that area. All right, so as we move down through there, we're going to keep coming down. And the next thing we get to is this little pocket over here, this Tiger Creek Park. So when we get here, obviously the first thing is you see this little point that sticks out. This looks really good. And you got a nice creek channel that's right in this area as well. So take a look at that. Got another submerged bridge down here. Got a good point that's out here as well. Or I guess it's a point, kind of a point or a hump, but definitely look at that. That looks like it could have some potential. And again, guys, just following these creek channels is going to be key. Where these creek channels come up against stuff, bump up against stuff, get close to timber, things like that, those are going to be your high percentage areas. So right here, very high percentage area, and then just kind of following it back. This thing says flipping back in there, so definitely go back in there and do some flipping. Over here, again, you see a creek channel bend, you're going to want to fish it, especially if you look in here and you look where there's maybe here, there's a pretty decent flat right here, just a real big top flat. But then right on that corner, right where that swing is, you'll notice there's a really big drop right in that area. So definitely focus in that area. Again, another submerged bridge back in here. I don't think there's anything else further back in there to take a look at. So let's pull out of there, show you where I'm at. We've kind of covered this, covered that little pocket. Let's keep moving on. Next thing we see is this little point here. It says there's a roadbed in here. So the roadbed is right here, really close to where the saddle is there. But you got this little point that comes out. I really like the edge of it right in here. It looks like you got a major drop going on in there. Or if there's nothing in there, come back in here and look at the saddle right in that area. See if you can find anything in that location. All right, so keep moving on down. Next area would be right in here. This is just another little point. I do like how it looks like there's a railway or an old roadbed coming right in here. So definitely check right in that area. But also this little point right here. If you come out here and look, it's got a really shallow top, 13 feet at the very top, almost like it's got a little hump out there or something. So check that out and see if they're attracting to that hump. And then as we move further down here, didn't see anything down in that pocket, but as we went over here, I did find a couple different things. Let me show you what I found. So right here, got a really decent looking like little drop or something. So obviously you've got this shallow area. So a little bit of a pinch point, but right in there looked really good. And then someone had marked and it said funnel. Like, I don't think it says anything else in there, but just said funnel. And I could see that definitely being a good spot. So check that out. Also, as you come over here, you got a couple different humps that are out here. Got a hump right in here that I marked for you guys. Some different ones here. They said there's a submerged pit in that area. Here, I marked this one because it looked really good. This looks like a little hump with a nice little drop that's happening right in that area too. So anyways, all those different points in there, definitely take a look at them. They're drops, they're humps, they're things like that, or they're that little funnel where it's coming out of there. So those are all high percentage areas. So then moving on down through here, we get down here by McGee Hill. Didn't see too much going on here from an offshore standpoint, except for right here. I like how you got this island pretty much that's out here in the middle. And then it has a really sharp drop. And then right at the edge of the drop or the end of the drop, you've got a roadbed. So check this little island out right in here, especially around that roadbed area. So I'm going to keep moving over here. And I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up to 147. And then I'm going to circle back around. No, I'm not. I'm just going to keep going because I don't think there's as many as I thought there was. So we're just going to keep on moving on up. So as we move up here, didn't find anything for a long time until we got right in here. And right off this island, it says that there's some rocks. Now, we may have marked these on the Google Earth side. I don't think we did, but come out here and check these out. But just be extremely careful because it looks like you could really tear your boat up if you got up in here and weren't prepared to get into that shallow area and hit those rocks. Also coming back in here from an offshore standpoint, didn't see too much, but right here, I did like this. It looks like a little point that comes out and you can see where it kind of hits that little creek bend. Those areas right in there are always very productive. So taking look at those areas, definitely worth your time. All right, so as we move up here, just going to kind of point out some of these different spots. We got a good little point coming off right here with a nice roadbed. So that one looked good. Got a submerged culverts back in here. I didn't mark them because they didn't look really that good. And sometimes they put these culverts out there and they're not there. Now, if that culvert would have been in 15 to 20 foot of water, I definitely would have been marking it. So then if I move on up here, a couple different things we have out here. We got another culvert right in here, or a submerged bridge. Sorry. So I went ahead and marked that one because those bridges are usually pretty big, and off the edges of them, that's where it'll start to come up, from a depth perspective. So they're usually pretty fun to fish, and they're great to throw spoons around. So if you got a big old spoon, go out by these submerged bridges in the fall or in the summer and throw those spoons, and you'll be surprised at what you can catch out there with those. So then moving out here, another submerged bridge. This one's getting in pretty decent water, 20, 25 feet. And then back here, you've also got submerged vegetation that's back in here. This says that there's some willow trees that are down in this area. So I went ahead and marked it for you guys just so you could take a look and see if you could find anything there. Now moving up here, three different little spots right in here. We've got this little island that comes off here. There must have been an old church here or something like that, but apparently there's some steps that are right in this area. You can kind of see it on Google Earth as well. So I went ahead and marked that one for you. Also right in here, you've got a nice little point. So I marked that. And then back here, you've got a pretty good little bridge going on right in this little area. And that, 20 foot of water, that's more like it. That's more like the areas that I would like to be fishing, at least me preferably. I don't like getting out there too deep. So then moving up here, a couple more spots on this side. When we get out here, if you notice, there's a little hump that's right in this area. It's almost hard to see because the contours just, you can't see them until I really zoom into them. But right in here, you've got this little hump, and you've also got a submerged culvert. So maybe check out this area right in here. Also, the fact that someone put a marker there, that means there may be some potential there to find some fish. Then moving up here, again, start being careful because I don't know how much flooded timber and stuff is in this area, so be extremely careful. But some emergent vegetation right in here. It also says there's some rocks right here. So anytime you can find those rocks that's around those pads or whatever it is that's over it here, grass, whatever it is, those can be good. So definitely check out that area. And then I think when we get further in here, didn't find too much back in there, but when we get out on off these sides of these points, you definitely see where we've got submerged points with nice drop offs that are going right into the creek channel. So get out here and fish in this area. That's probably going to be a really good spot for you. All right, so I'm going to move on up. And as we get up here, they've put a ton of spots out here. I don't know what all these things are. I don't want to click each one of them, but I just picked the ones that look like, those are high percentage areas. So obviously this point right here looks good. This point here too, being that it touches up against this creek bed, that looks like it could have some really good potential. Same one on this one, this point here too. This one comes out, it doesn't touch the creek channel, but I do like how it comes out. It would be a really good spot for them to stage on. So definitely look in here at certain times of the year, and then moving down through here, you've got another submerged bridge. So the submerged bridges, and if they're good on this lake, you've got plenty of them to pick from. So I'm going to keep moving over here. As we move out of that pocket, we're getting over here by 147. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and finish up on this top part, and we'll finish back here on 147. And then on the next video, we'll finish the other eastern side of the lake. So let's keep on moving up here. Over here by where this creek channel goes, you'll see this little point that comes out. Now it's got some pretty good depth to it, 18 feet. I guess you could say, it's more just like a really good flat that's out there, but then it's got this really sharp drop right here where this bend is. So right in here would be a great place to look at from an offshore standpoint. Moving down, some more things, got another submerged bridge right in here. Someone marked in here that there were some rocks in this area. Now I couldn't really validate this from the Google Earth waypoint side, but definitely check that out. Also, as we're sitting here, I just noticed this that says that there's a brush pile out here. We may have already marked that brush pile, but if not, make sure you go over there and check that out. And then as we go down here, there's a couple more spots. Submerged bridges, one there, another one over here as well. So submerged bridges are always good. Like I said, we've got plenty of them to pick from. And here, if you notice, this creek swing comes up and then it really makes that big sharp turn right in there. Anytime, again, you get those bends, those are always good areas to try to locate fish. This is a bend that's coming up against an island, so you know that's going to be a good area. So definitely look in that area for sure. Then moving up here, we're talking about the back of this island. If we look back here, there's a pond back here. So this comes off and makes a pretty good drop, and then you've got a pond in this area. I'm not sure. I'm not saying this is a high percentage area, kind of like those other ones, but definitely maybe a spot to look if you're struggling to find some fish. Maybe you'll find some located in that area. Then let's keep moving up. We get out here, it gets kind of sloppy, but right out in here, we get a railroad track with another bridge that's down there. That one's in some pretty deep water, 50-something feet. That's probably going to be more like a wintertime thing if you're going that far out. And then back up in here, you've got another good point that's right in here with some flooded timber and a creek channel that's pretty close by, or a creek bed that's close by. Just a couple more things in here. Another hump that's out here, you'll see here. If I zoom in, you can see it. Got this hump here at about 15 feet, and then it breaks off in about 23, 24 feet. So pretty good drop right there from that hump. And then coming up in here, I think we've got, 4 more up here, I think. Oh, no, we got a lot more than 4. So we're going to move over here. Another hump here. So take a look at these humps. And again, really like anything that's a lot closer to this creek channel. So even though we've got some of these marked, if you only had a few hours to fish in the day, focus on the points that are closer to those creek channels. I think you're going to have more success that way. Another mark, another hump right in there. Like right here, this is closer to the creek channel. It's on a bend. It's close. All of this, it's got flooded timber by it. This looks like a really good area to be fishing around right there. And then moving down here, you've also got another submerged bridge. And this submerged bridge is only in about 12 foot of water. So looking really good. Moving further up here, we've got a couple more things to look at in here. Over here, this is shallow, but you got a little shallow point that's right over in here. This could have some potential being that it's so close to this creek channel. And then as we move further over here, same type thing. You've got another creek bend, and then you've got a little drop that's going on right in there. Back over here, someone marked this as a fishing or diving hotspot. I can't imagine it being a diving spot. So this must just be a pretty good point to fish off of. Don't know for sure if that's, largemouth, white bass, whatever they marked it for, but it's a point that comes pretty far out into the lake, so you definitely want to take a look at that. And as we move in here, I don't think I marked anything back in here. We got one way back here. Must be another bridge or something. Oh, I really liked this. I wanted to mark this for sure. So you see where this creek bed comes over here? And it makes almost a 90-degree turn right here. You know this is one heck of a ledge that's somewhere right in this area. So definitely look kind of where I have that marker and a little bit over here. And that should be a pretty productive ledge for you depending on the time of year that you're fishing. All right, so I'm going to keep moving down here to this side because we covered that whole side. Let's go back up and see if we have anything in this area. I don't see anything up here either. This is all just really shallow stuff. So I think we're going to get back in right around in here. And this is going to be our point. Yeah, so we've got a creek channel that comes over here. Looks really good. Again, guys, when it comes up and makes those swings, that's your prime area. So right in here is a prime area. You can see someone that already marked it as a fishing or diving hotspot. I went in and just moved the marker a little bit closer to the creek channel, but definitely take a look in that area for sure. Let's keep moving on down here and see what the next thing we can find here is going to be. So as we get down here, we get down around the area where those different humps were. And you can see on each one of these humps, someone has marked on navionics. So if you have navionics, you'll see all these humps. But again, the only hump that I really saw that could be productive would be this one here because, or was it this? Was this one because it had some additional cover on the top of it. And then we also like this one, the one that I marked here with the blue dots. So that's definitely be a good hump for you. And then this hump out here got a little more depth, but it comes up pretty high, all the way up to 15 feet, and then has really sharp drop offs. So definitely look over there on that hump. So that takes us back to Highway 147. We'll wrap it up there. When we come back for our next video, we're going to do 147 southeast. So basically, we're just going to head straight south and hit all these points on the east side, and we'll finish up right here where we started today. So hope that's really helping you guys find these different areas to be able to locate the fish. Definitely, this looks like a creek channel lake. So get comfortable fishing around those creek channels, and I think that's really going to help you. Until next time, guys, I hope you catch your PB. Make sure you go out to our site. Check it out, simplisticfishing.com. Take it easy.